You look very familiar.
I know. I heard there was going to be a party.
There is a party.
Yeah. Just need to go to
Party.
the pillows. And I brought pie and ice cream for the eclipse.
Oh, good.
That we should celebrate.
What kind of pie?
Strawberry rhubarb from St. Helena's. Not
Did you
St.
go there?
Helena's, Sweet Helena's.
Did you go there?
I didn't. I didn't even have to. I had an appointment at Montage yesterday, and then I noticed there was a farmer's market, and I got over there and they were closing up. And Sweet Helena had a booth.
She gave you a free pie.
Well, I wish, but she was just about to put it in the truck. And I said, boy, I can't let that go away.
That's beautiful.
But I sure don't think I want to eat this by myself.
No.
No, I thought, and then I thought, I'll bring it over here and we can celebrate. And then I thought I better bring ice cream.
Right.
I mean, the story just kept building. So it was fun. Different vanilla and also mint chip ice cream.
Yeah, I don't eat ice cream anymore.
Yeah, I heard that. Or any less, right?
That's right. Or any less. No more, no less.
Wrinkle in time. As somebody once said. Some ideas are too good to let go.
And as the sound of the bell drifts away, we welcome you to Wednesday night live stream meditation, my friends. Marvelous to have you with us. Of course, once again, all of our work is around the beauty, the mystery, the magic of the star tetrahedron, what we call the Christ field, not a person, but a field of energy that has been replicated through divine power, divine love, coming together in a unified mystical marriage, which ignites into this prismatic form within, through, around you. And as it turns, the upper triangulation moving left to right clockwise, the lower triangulation right to left counterclockwise, opens a sacred doorway within the middle. An energetic wave form opens back into the void where source spirit resides within the unmanifest. And the purpose of creation is to bring from the unmanifest that which exists within the mind of source God, all possibilities that lie within that field of energy. We talked a little bit about last week, if you simply close your eyes and there's darkness, if you had a thought, you would still experience no thing, nothing. It's that way within the void, that it is this field of pure, dark oneness, but it's filled with thoughts. Imagine when you have your eyes closed, you could simply think anything you wanted to think. You could imagine anything, but it would have no validity within the worlds of form because it wasn't manifest. And so that which is the void, the source mind of God, created a mechanism where power and love were finally unified, and then it created the Christ field. And it is the creative structure of the entire universe. All of the universe has emerged from out of the Christ field. The reason being because it was then the synthesis of the focusing of light, power, and divine love, which is the feminine. And as it then was unified, it created a light source of such magnificence that it was a prismatic light source. Again, the facets of the star are prisms. And as this was then created through source, it then opened the sacred doorway back in the middle. And this was now light and love existing, still no thing within creation, but then the Christ field could also then, if you will, hang or hover within the void where the mind of God is. And it could then view or shed light upon the thoughts, the images that exist within the mind of source. And as that happened, it then created a reflection, just like a mirror, off of that thought, that image that exists within the mind of God. And as that mirror, that thought image arose forth, from out of the interior, it touched the facets of the spinning star tetrahedron, and it then prismatically and holographically then literally refracted and reflected it into light. And so the Christ star is the refracting, it refracts off the void. It reflects through the prismatic form, that which is within the mind, and so it's a prismatic reflection. But then it's also a remembering, memory. And so then there is a holding by the Christ field of that thought, that image, and that remembering. Then the eoma coalesces around it, and it literally precipitates into form. It happens with, again, all creation. And so this has some real significance for us because tomorrow is a great eclipse. It's called a solar fire eclipse. And what it is that the Earth, again, overshadows the sun, is in front of the sun. The moon. Yeah, the moon. We're always in front of the sun. The sun is shining upon us. And so as the moon then crosses in front of the sun, We then see there's a dark orb, but around it, the ring of fire is the solar fire of the sun that's still emanating around that dark orb. And what this signifies, you see, is that the darkness is the void, and all around it is the ring of fire, the Christ field, that for us is the Christ field that from us and from all creation manifests life into form. Now, as I was saying, all creation comes forth from the Christ field. So our physical sun, as well as every sun within the universe, it is a Christ mechanism. Our physical sun is a Christ field. And from out of it, there is a life of such profundity and magnificence emanating from that Christ field. And when this solar system was created, the sun, this Christ field, literally then cast off parts of itself, literally liquid flaming core parts of the sun, that then finally cooled to become the earth and all the planets therein. But the very core of earth, there still exists that fiery golden core of energy, which is the Christ field of earth that came from our physical sun. And so the earth is if a subset, if you will, a Christ field subset of this great Christ field that is the sun. But our sun, you see, is a subset of this even greater Christ field that is the galaxy that we exist within. And there are billions upon billions upon billions of galaxies. And so creation, you see, is always seeking to discern, to evolve, to create ways to see more and more of itself. And so we see that the universe is always expanding. Science literally tells us that the universe is always expanding. And supposedly it's expanding faster and faster. And that's because as this expansion is taking place and more Christ fields, you, I, as we begin to awaken, and we then open the doorway within us back into the void, we then begin to summon and call forth the void, the mind of God, into even more creation. And we as humans, we are co-creating with Mother Earth. The Earth and all the planets are co-creating the evolution with the sun with the galaxy. And so it goes on and on and on. But as we, as human beings, you see on the planet, our co-creative destiny is to awaken the Christ field within us, to finally purpose to back together divine power, divine love, and then create this prismatic form within us where we awaken as Christ field beings. And because now the open doorway is within us, we are literally bringing source through. We are, if you will, source or God on earth. And what this does, you see, is it begins to create a whole net, a living net of golden liquid living light around the earth. And then the earth then, through us and with us, evolves into a much higher state of awareness. But what has happened is humanity has been lagging behind. We've reached a place where we have become so ignorant in the ways of the great being we are, the Christed field within. We've ended up really, if you will, emasculating Mother Earth. We're taking all the resources and then taking them for our own purposing rather than the co-creation of a greater union. And that's why there is then all the destructuring that we see taking place in the world today. It's over. We've talked about this many times. It's all over now. It stopped in, if you will, should have stopped, if you will, in 2012 when the Mayan calendar began to change into the new paradigm. But now you see it's reaching a crescendo of destructuring so that we can begin to truly architect and become one with the space field of the planet. And so the eclipse tomorrow, you see, is a symbol, a very strong and powerful symbol that as we look into the heavens, you see, we're going to see the void, the dark circle, and around it, the fire, which is simply saying Mother Earth is now being, if you will, impregnated with another level of fire and awareness and consciousness from the sun. And as that then is infusing into earth, it's also then calling us into another level of our personal awakening. So everything that's happening in creation now upon the planet is around the embodiment of the Christ field. I agree, it doesn't look much like that. We do see that there's much spiritual illumination taking place on the planet. Some brilliant teachers are out there sharing wisdom and light and consciousness. But at the same time, there is much ignorance. We who are moving in the trajectory of awakening, we want to be watchful that we're not judging or criticizing or disliking that which we call ignorance. It's simply part of the ignorance playing upon the ignorance to continue to break it down. And as it's then broken down, it allows we who are arising into love and light and joy to simply create a waveform vibration, the Christ field around us, living light, which then goes out, and it literally, as it is the essence of love, it embraces all that is imbalanced, and it doesn't dislike it or change it or in any way negate it. It simply flows in and through it. That's what love does. It simply flows in and through that which it embraces in non-judgment, in non-resistance. And as the Christ field of love flows in and through what we call the darkness, the ignorance, it then discerns and it identifies what already is within all creation. Source, God, oneness. And as we then identify and feel and love that which is the underlying truth of all creation, it begins to vibrate that back into life, and ignorance then simply falls away. It's not a judgment, it's not a criticism, it simply is the absolute power of love moving through, which is the Christ field, just like the sun, a great solar radiance. I think you know when you go outside in the sun and you may be cold or chilly, the moment you stand in the sun, there's warmth that's flowing in and through. You can feel it penetrating through your skin. This is the supreme love of this great being that is the Christ field within our solar orb. And so in the same way, you see, we will then begin to bring light and life to the planet because we awaken the Christ field within us. So this is a marvelous symbol you see tomorrow, June 10th, of the solar fire eclipse. So one of the things, of course, that we do in our meditation is the breath work. I'd like to talk just a little bit more about the breath work. I've been kind of bringing you along to understand that the breath is about literally summoning source from inside out. We call it the Ujjayi breathing, where the neck is kind of gently back and the chin tucked slightly down. And as we're breathing in, it's creating a sense of a great alignment within the spinal column. But as we're breathing in, we know and feel that we're breathing literally source from inside out. That through the open doorway within the heart chakra, the in-breath is summoning and bringing source spirit up and out. And as we then hold for a couple of counts, we are then breathing out source. Now, that's just been kind of a rote thing we've been doing, but it's time to change our awareness of that just a bit. Because what we are doing, you see, spirit is the breath of life. And so as we are breathing spirit up and out, we're literally breathing spirit, which is the animation of life. Spirit is the animation of life. And so the Christ field identifies the image or thought within the void. And then as it creates the reflection and the refraction off of it, it's the Oma that brings it into materiality. But then something has to give it life. And what gives it life is spirit. And so as you are in breathing, you are literally bringing that next component to ignite what you are imaging and feeling into life. It's no longer a static, simply a manifestation. It becomes a light imbued living manifestation. And so when we're doing our breath, I want you to be real conscious that as we're now breathing in, it is source, it is life. And it is the life that is animating that which the Christ field holds in its creative force. So it becomes a union: spirit, Christ, matter, a trinity. And so even you see in our meditation that we'll be doing afterwards, I want to invite you to be real, if you will, observant, that as you're doing your meditation and you're in breathing, be conscious of the breath. Be conscious of, I have created now the star tetrahedron in its movement around me. The Christ field is established. And now from inside out through the open doorway, I am now also feeling, and if you will, this breath of life that animates creation to then create that which I am holding in my star tetrahedron to have life abundantly. Okay? So let's go ahead and practice the Ujjayi breathing. Again, the spine quite erect, as though there is a string at the top of the head gently pulling you up. We'll do the breath work for about 4 minutes. And again, as you're breathing in, we're being real conscious of our intention to, with the in breath from the open doorway within the heart, we are imagining and feeling spirit, the life force of creation arising forth. When we do our meditation, it will be the Christ field that will illuminate within the void the choices of our creation. The spirit that is rising forth will be the animating principle. So let's go ahead and do the Ujjayi breathing for about 5 minutes. Very deep, calming breath, summoning source from the interior open doorway within the heart. Feel the animating principle of spirit, life-giving, arising from out of the open doorway within the chest. And another deep breath, summoning the animating principle of spirit to ignite the images, the feelings, and the Christ wave with life. We have talked before about the breath summoning source spirit from inside out, but this is another clarification, an important clarification that the breath is summoning spirit. It is the igniting principle that then gives life to that which the star tetrahedron, the Christ, is holding in its imagery and feeling. The Christ field that emanates out through the prismatic form. The eoma, the glittering substance of creation, then literally precipitates image into wholeness, materiality, but it's then spirit, the breath, that those combined as a combination of those three, it actually then gives animation and life to your creation. Okay? So again, be very conscious of that in your meditation now. So this is, of course, the imagery of the star meditation, the star tetrahedron as it encompasses the body. And as you can see here in the center, the heart chakra is the explosive force where spirit, the Christ together literally calls and summons that which is light into being, into being. The star tetrahedron in front, in back, all around, and then summoning from out of the open doorway within the heart, spirit. Both the images, the Christ identifies the images within the mind of God, literally the light of the Christ, illuminates within the void the mind of God. It rises forth, and then spirit that you then summon with the breath through the Christ field then literally gives it life. So I'm going to take you through the full formulation of the star tetrahedron. And as we are then doing our meditation today, I'd like to invite you to be conscious of the breath as the igniting principle of life. Again, it's another level to our meditation, so it can be a little bit challenging at first, but as we practice, we become quite refined at it. So our meditation always begins by allowing the body to feel itself relaxing and letting go. And we can be aware of the breath now. The breath from the open doorway within the center of the chest, summoning the animating principle of life, spirit. And the body feels that animating presence and relaxes. It feels itself opening, creating space to receive. Feel the body opening, relaxing. We bring our attention between the eyebrows and drawing a line straight back. We imagine, image in, within the center point of the head, the light of the soul. Just as you would see a light bulb turn on, there is now light within the center point of the mind brain. Holding attention here, light increases. Filling the mind brain with the light of the soul. We focus the light to the heart chakra at the sternum, and we illuminate the star tetrahedron. Any size you choose. The upper triangulation, apex above, divine power is turning left to right clockwise. The lower triangulation, apex beneath, is turning right to left counterclockwise. Which opens the sacred doorway within the heart, in the very center of the chest, back into the void. And with each in-breath, the animating principle of spirit is arising forth. The images and feelings within the prismatic form of the Christ tetrahedron are now emanating out. This is the creation of life, abundant, and so let us sit quietly together. Observant of breath, observant of the star tetrahedron, and I will join with you, and we will all gather together in the sacredness of the Christ field. And very easily now, slowly coming back into the now. So to reiterate just a little bit, the breath, it's now changed in its quality, in its focus. There's another quality or parameter to it, that even though we're breathing from the open doorway, we realize and we feel it as the animating principle of spirit, that the star tetrahedron, as it is moving in this prismatic form around you, the Christ field identifies within the void that which is the thought, the image, what is it you choose to create. And as the light of the mind is held upon it, it creates then the refraction, the mirroring off of that from out of the void. And then as it arises forth, its spirit, the breath, the spirit of breath that then actually animates it and gives it life, as the eoma literally precipitates it, makes it manifest within this time-space dimension. So it's another exciting way to be in your creatorship. So tomorrow again is the solar eclipse, the ring of fire eclipse. The image is the void in the middle and all around the Christ field. And of course, we realize that the sun is a magnificent Christ field that is purposing now with Earth another level of evolution on the planet. And this is the symbol of that, from out of the void, another level of evolution arising forth. So if you have questions or anything I can help you with as far as your meditation or anything that's happening, please feel free to get a hold of me. And once again, I want to thank you for joining with us tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks to continue onward and upward, my friends. Great blessings upon you.